Hey guys, this is Navigating Neva, and I am your host, Neva Nicole, and we have with us co-host Wesley from Wesley King Consulting.
Hello, happy to be here.
And we are back for season two, and season two is about lifeguard life, certifications, careers, and more. And this is not your real series. This is me and Wes doing our brainstorming, and real series will start next week. All right, that's our test run. So I've got down episode one. I think that one's pretty clear cut, and we don't really need any homework. We could just go into it, talk about it. Was there anything you wanted to add to that?
The lifeguarding one. Let's see. What is lifeguarding? I think any, and I mean, I'd just be pulling data out of my rear end. So, and maybe not for the exact filming, but the idea would be as we get done, maybe however long it is. Oh, how long do you want of each one of them to go? Number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, putting some substantiation to it. 80% of the pools are one guarded. Percentage of drownings in lifeguarded pools. So as we go over each subject, even if the end, if there's a couple, blasts of information or a couple cliff notes, it said this is why we believe it. This is how we're foundating some of the information, et cetera, relevant to lifeguarding properties that have lifeguards, et cetera.
I like that.
So those would be my two. And then, and what's our time frame that we're hoping to do?
My time frame is 20 to 30 minutes. I did that on the last one because I was trying to make it ideal for a mom to listen to in a carpool lane.
I love it.
I might not be marketing to the same crowd this time, so or like you're on a cool down, you're at the gym and you're slow enough to listen, like on the treadmill. So this one's really for anybody that's going into the aquatic field now and they're looking for a job. So the one thing I was going to mention, I know everything about American Red Cross, almost everything about the YMCA. I wanted to offer the information on, is it Lifeguard Pro? Is that
Well,
the
there's lifeguard, not lifeguard. There's Starguard.
Starguard?
There's Ellis.
Yep.
There's USLA. Lifeguarding of America, I think it is there, and then you start to get, and there's Lifeguard Pro, I think, and then you start to get into the validity and the quality control measures of the varieties of lifeguard certifications. But those are probably the top five: USLA, U.S. Coast Guard, um, yeah, Canadian lifeguarding.
And I believe the Boy Scouts is getting rid of
Oh,
theirs.
that could be true. YMCA got rid of theirs, right? So,
I didn't know
um,
YMCA got rid of
oh,
theirs.
I'm
I
not sorry. I'm not. They got rid of their saunas. I got ahead of myself. Um, the lifeguard certification, the Y, the Red Cross, Lifetime doesn't have one. JCC doesn't have one. USLA, yeah. International, Canadian, yeah. Speaking of guests, I can think of a guest that was at AOAP that would be well versed in this specific variety and quality of them. Yeah.
okay, we might talk about that later. Okay.
Anyway,
Yes, so I want to go over that for episode one. Everywhere you can go and the prices and why really in location. Just some you're always going to get what you get because that's what's offered in your
mm-hmm.
area, and others offer it because that's what you're offered. But then those that are recognized nationally and then where they are, like, USLA is usually the beach. And then
Starguard's taking over the cruise ships. Ellis is in water parks.
it is, yeah, it's all of
Yeah.
Florida, all the
Right.
big water
Right.
park. Yes, yes.
Without
And then the county below us has Lifeguard Pro. So I think a lot of places that can't get certified LGIs end up going with Lifeguard Pro just because it's easier.
right, and each state has different regulations on what's accepted, and yeah.
Yeah, let's cover that because I don't think anybody realizes that when they get it. State acceptance. I want to cover the state acceptance. Uh, okay. All right. Episode two is the swim test, and I covered what they mean. I for decades have been conducting swim tests, and I'm on the phone with the mom, and I say, "Can your kid swim?" And the mom says, "Yeah." And then the kid comes to the pool
Hmm.
and fails the swim test every time. So I thought we could on episode two just break down for the different ones we talked about the week prior what the swim tests are and why they vary so drastically. But of course, why the standards are what they are and why they're important.
Yeah, and just to be, and this is being recorded too, overtly transparent, I am less versed, knowledgeable on the specific qualities of every type of swim test from each governing body, Red Cross, Ellis, etc. And
Mhm.
I'm more versed on taking those components, whatever they are, we'll read them, we'll recite them, and then applying it to a consistent methodology at your pool. In 60 seconds or less, what are the biggest challenges I've seen? And I've actually had paid clients that I've helped with this is creating a standard process of your swim test, just like you're in service, from where you start the test, where you end the test, the markings, the signalings, the size, the space, the lane, the words you use, the body language you have. Is it a really tall 6'5" lifeguard that's, introducing a 5-year-old girl? Well, you're already off to the wrong track. Are we getting on one knee? Are we looking eye to eye? So really creating an entire methodology behind whatever the
Swim test.
national local protocols are to make it functional in your body of water, to make it functional in your space with your staff, that you can rinse and repeat it over and over. To make all the way back to the beginning, almost 60 seconds, is everybody has the standards. Nobody learns how to apply them in a manner that can be repeated. So when I say my kid can swim or I pass the test, how are we maximizing that efficiently and equally every time?
I love it.
So just to tell you, and then again, so if we pull them up next week and we say, hey, Wes, this is the standard and this is the standard, and we have in front of us, then I would
Hmm.
turn it into examples and say, if you have a deep water pool, if you have a splash pad, if you have, open water body, blah, 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 how do you take these? If you have one guard, if you have 5 guards, etc.
I agree. I wrote that down so that we're going to cover it.
Anyway,
So I've
almost
got,
1 minute.
yeah, I've got why swim test requirements exist, the common misunderstandings, and so the common misunderstandings aren't the swim test requirements, but when people are registering for your class, they're like, I already have CPR. Do I have to stay for that part?
Right, it's the same. Yeah,
And I'm like,
I've
you
already
do.
passed. Why do I have to do good? I
Right.
already have the blue bracelet. Why do I need the green bracelet? Well, not everybody else has a blue bracelet. So,
Right. I already
yeah,
ate my breakfast. Can I just have dessert?
right, right.
No, no,
Because your
not yet.
breakfast is different than mine.
Yeah,
And you passed your test in 3 feet of water. Anyway, but I
exactly.
do think to your last point of why do we have them is as important as how we do them. We have them so that we can reduce our rescues. We have anyway, but you get the idea. So actually, if we're just doing a swim test and the kid moves on and we never do anything with it, then why are we doing the swim test? They should be doing it so we can use it to make our lifeguards better, make our swimmers better, make our ability to scan the water more efficient, because this whole group of kids passed the test and we can anyway. Sorry.
I
Next
got it. I
next
love
week.
it.
Sorry.
So, episode 4 is our lifeguard duties versus management duties. And I don't know if you saw the comment I put on Facebook earlier, but the guy anonymously posted, "This is why people drowned at pools." And I was like, I really feel it's management because I've been in management for so long.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's everybody, but management, everything he was nitpicking on, I'm like, a good manager would not have let those things occur.
It's I'm trying to pull up the rest of your agenda because I only pulled the I only screenshotted the first 4 weeks.
Oh,
Where's your
let me
email? Where I'm
I
looking
can
for your
screen.
screen share. Yeah, I'm looking for your email that has
Oh,
all
yeah,
of the
let me screen
weeks.
share. I will screen
Perfect.
share
Okay,
because
let's do that
everybody
then.
can
Okay.
see that. Let me figure out how to do that. Yeah, again, I'm learning. I've never in my life used
My other hope, while this is all being recorded and knowing your fancy editing skills, is that even as we're recording tonight, you can take 10, 20, 30 seconds of, hey, week 2 is going to be this, and I gave you a good answer. Hey, week 4 is going to be this, and I give you a good answer. Ideally, you can take something and then we can use it to promote.
yes, I hope so. I can't. Hey, how do you screen share?
Go to your options at the bottom where it says more. No, go to go to apps share. There should be an up arrow.
Yep,
Mine is yep, and it should say up screen share. Like
got
a
it.
up, yeah.
And then just hit share.
And then pick whatever
Okay,
screen. If you have like a
I
million tabs
did.
open,
Can you see it?
yeah, there we go.
Do you only? I have like 4 screens open. Do you see the one?
I see the. I don't see the one with the guy
You
in the
see this one?
bikini.
Okay. I've got your
She's like,
website and a
well,
and a
you blushed a
file.
little too much there, but that's
Like,
fantastic.
yeah. Okay. So you see the lifeguard duty ones. Is that right? It
Yes.
doesn't, I've been on other people's. It does not show it to me like I thought it would. Okay. All right. So we are talking about four lifeguard duties versus management duties. And I threw in what I put on Facebook, which is obviously not on my screen. So, what lifeguards are really responsible for. And then I think a big thing for parents or lifeguards coming to the job, they get confused on what they're responsible for and what their managers are responsible for. And then it also goes facility to facility. I mean, some guards are responsible for the towels and some aren't, and some are responsible for the water and some aren't. But in bigger facilities, you've got the management level where they're really taking care of you. And then little facilities like where my son works, there's just three lifeguards. There's not even management. There's the owner of the
First of
club,
all,
and then it's
fir-
the three lifeguards.
first of all, there's no way you're old enough to have a son that works. Is that what you just said out loud?
I do, and I have his headset on. Yeah, I don't know where he went.
That's fantastic.
They're not allowed
Both,
to come out.
I don't blame him. I'm sitting in the corner of our bedroom. I would never have guessed that. That's good for you.
Mhm.
Second, what I have done before in this exact mantra, I have shown the clip of Arnold Schwarzenegger in Kindergarten Cop, where he blows the whistle to
Yeah.
get the, and I've used that to say that it's okay to be a lifeguard like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Kindergarten Cop. It's
Yeah.
okay to use a whistle. And again, most of the people that reference would be lost on your son, but you get it. And the next generation of managers won't get it, but I
Mhm.
don't even care. I care that it takes this principle and allows people to understand that it's okay to be forceful. It's okay to say, no, I have to watch the water. It's okay
Yeah.
to use all the Gen X terminology and go to I, but
Yeah.
you also have to understand that when you're done lifeguarding, to your point, Nicole, you might have to fold a towel.
Yes.
You can only play that card when you're standing in front of water. It does not give you an excuse to remove yourself from every other duty and responsibility that comes with this job. So it's a double-edged sword when the younger crowd gets involved. And anyway, so those are my two sides of it: the kindergarten cop whistle, but also the you have to know that your time is not in the water now, and you're going to fold some trash, or you're going to do some garbage, and you're going to hose a deck.
Right. Right.
Anyway, so
Right.
it's really clearing that deck and understanding the flip side.
Yeah. And then I think we could throw some laws in there, big ones, not the little ones, but the states that have really drastic changes. Just so if we do have military families that move from state to state and their kid didn't do that and now their kid does, they might not know that now their kid does do that. You know what I mean?
And why? Not why. And where? You said where is this state doesn't require lifeguards. Well, I want to have a lifeguard. All right. Well, are we budgeting for it? Well, I can't get a job. Well, this state
Right.
needs me to have every guard. So you're absolutely spot on and
Yeah.
understanding those needs and requirements.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna scroll.
So
All right,
yeah,
so
5. Yep.
I love episode 5, and I think you do too, because I've heard you talk about it a lot. Tons of kids come in every year, and they think that this is just a summer job, and then they're gone. But as you and I know, you can stay in aquatics forever.
Can on the record on a voice record, can I tell you that you used a 4-letter word? You just swore. KIDS. If you call them that, they act like that. I've done a 45-minute presentation on they are my staff, they are my youth, they are my utes, if I want to quote my cousin Vinny, but I don't call them kids because I won't allow them to see themselves as that.
Oh,
If and I know a ton of wonderful older women who are the mother hen of their pools. I know older
yeah,
men that are the mother den hens, straight, lesbian, male, old, young, black, white. I know a ton of people in all races and creeds and color that take so much pride in being the den parent or familiarity of the pool. And I
right.
want people to come to me. And I want people to I want to be their bartender and be their barbershop and I want to be there for them. Great. Don't call them kids.
It's
And that's why I believe number 5 is so exciting for me because A, that principle, but B is when you show up to work, I'm not going to let us believe that you're a child anymore.
right.
Anyway, but so that's to give you some, behind the scenes. It was, as I always say, Oz behind the curtain. There's a
Hmm.
insider baseball for you, but that's one of the reasons why I believe that is, um, I'm gonna treat you that from day one. And if you're not ready for it, that's cool. I got no beef with that. but kids is a four-letter word. Oz behind the curtain. You got it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep that for later. Okay. Anything else from where they can take you? We're gonna talk about what your stuff is. And definitely the lifeguard ladder. Everywhere you can go. It's not really a ladder because it doesn't go up. It goes.
No, I would say it's more of a. You ever seen the Ocho where they have the slippery stairs competition and they have to climb the stairwell and just full of like grease and slime and you just can't actually climb the stair and you just keep falling down? I would say that's more of what is that. Is there a way to describe that in the
I mean,
no?
that's just management in aquatics.
Right.
That's
Bingo.
not the ladder to success though, because the ladder to
Fair.
success you can kind of hop like lily pads, I think.
Right. It does not. And so I think what I would say for this is getting your body getting out of the swimsuit and into khaki pants.
Yeah, true. I like that.
I've done a whole 45-minute presentation and it's literally, you know how you have the human growth guy with the monkey and the ape and he turns into a human. I have that same grid where you're in your swimsuit, then you're in a polo shirt, then you're in khaki shorts, then you're in a polo shirt and khaki shorts, then you're in khaki pants. So it shows you that same like evolution chart, but it leads the
Yeah.
human to see that in time you can get out of a swimsuit and you can
Right.
be, you know, belt and polo if you want, or dress in, you know, whatever the I don't know, whatever the ladies wear.
We're gonna let people know that you can offer that class, and maybe somebody will take you off on that. And this is
I'm
just
in.
your teaser. All
Till
right.
till fair. Yes, keep going.
Episode 6. A roundtable discussion on lifeguard training and industry insights.
Hmm.
Um,
So my immediate takeaway is I don't certify anymore.
right.
But so I guess my thought here is if we build out time, we could bring in somebody that is like a David Eckert or Ryan, anybody that is actively teaching. There's a long list of people that could give the insider real time perspective. Well, I could
Uh-huh.
potentially give the now that you've taught class or now that you're teaching a class, how can you make it yours without breaking the curve? How can you apply those lessons in your property? So marrying somebody who's teaching the current curriculums and is real up to date with the idea of thinking about the next steps in real time.
So
Does that make sense?
it does. I currently
Okay.
teach Red Cross. I teach
Check.
a lot. Like I have
Boom.
instructor research this weekend, and
So
then I
maybe
have 3 instructors.
we have somebody MC this episode and
Hmm.
you and I do what I just said.
We could, or I was thinking we could bring in another person that is for the roundtable discussion that is either teaching a
Stargard
different
or
one, yeah, like
yeah,
Stargard,
yeah.
or in the industry that's maybe higher, like facilities that don't have a me, where they hire a me. We could
Yeah.
bounce some questions off like that, so that when they're,
There's people that do that for a living. They just
yeah,
follow around and certify all day long.
right, and
Yeah.
they want to know. I mean, I've been an American Red Cross instructor trainer since '05, and I
Jesus
refuse to lose it because it
God
took me
bless
a
you.
minute
It's
to get it.
I remember the first time I worked for the Red Cross and I couldn't get my anyway.
Yeah,
you are
it took
smart
me
to keep it.
a long time, and I won't.
Don't let it go.
So when I
Yeah,
say, okay, I became an instructor in '05, it then took me 6 years of praying and begging to get,
to get the T.
yeah,
Yeah,
hmm,
yeah.
yeah,
Nobody gets the T. So,
yeah,
but I think you're spot on to give perspective. And again, for me, and this is your baby. For me, this episode is less about how you teach a 40-hour class and how you teach the CPR. It's more about how you think about it and how you understand what happens within this time frame. And once you sign that license, what else have you done to prepare them? Now, I realize you can't go into property, and I know you realize, but how am I thinking about what's beyond this anyway? So if that makes sense, because
that makes perfect sense.
and I don't know about you. I mean, again, I've been out of the teaching realm for too long, but I can tell you, as I got quote unquote better as a teacher, I became much less worried about how I was reading the exact thing on the Red Cross document or the LS document, and more worried about how are they going to interpret this and apply this when they walk out the doors.
For
It,
sure.
it probably made me a worse teacher, to be honest. But if you anyway,
I don't think it made you a worse teacher. I honestly enjoy teaching. I like much more
I love it,
teaching
but
teaching in service. So I would rather not teach
yes.
to the book, and I would rather come in and do your in-house. Like at the Y, we had eight in our association. So we called them a rodeo. So our preseason was we would all come together and we would basically just like a big in-service preseason training. Now, three pools were open all year, so it wasn't new for us, but the other five, they just do
Oh,
seasonal
I
staff, and
love it.
that was great.
The
And
yes.
and then there's a private club who the lady knows nothing about aquatics. It's probably like where Tanner works, and they have a tennis
Yeah.
club that's there all year. And she calls me, and I gave her an IT. He was actually an IT that taught for me, and he just poofed and left and went to the army one day. So after I gave them an IT, they came back to me again. So this is going to be my third year going to train
Yes.
them. But what we do with them, I do train their staff, but I come on a day, and new stuff and old stuff, we all get together. And since
Hmm.
she doesn't know aquatics, she does hire a summer, I don't know, a deck supervisor, we'll call them.
Yep. Yep.
I don't know how they structure it at the club, but
I can help him figure
I
it
do
out.
their training. Yeah, I do their training for the day, and that is what's fun. Following
Oh,
the
you and I
textbook
are
is
so
hard. Yeah,
yeah. And
it's
and
two
again,
different worlds.
yeah, and A, maybe this is a recordable moment, but B, this could be for when we get into the subject specifically, is there comes a point, I think, for any instructor who really loves teaching where they have to figure out how far attached or how deeply attached they have to be to the book, to the word for word, and
Right.
how much can they make it their own without crossing a line, without influencing the requirements, without, and I'm not saying anything against anybody's policies and procedures, but the more experience you get, the more you realize that that book just doesn't cut it.
No.
And these students, not kids, these students are going to apply the training you gave them, and it's probably not going to be at the property you did it, and it's probably not going to be with the team they did it. It's probably going to be with the boss they did it, or with the equipment they did it with. Maybe it is, and if it is, that's phenomenal and good for you. But most likely, they got certified or retrained in a location that they're not going to be working in. And so that's why I'm really passionate about this specific piece, is because it has an opportunity to carry over into real life.
I agree. I hear you. I'm going to end the recording so we can keep talking, but I'm going to
Fair.
tell everybody that's listening, our first real episode 1, is going to be next week, February 26th. And then we're going to go weekly ending April 2nd with our last recording, getting everybody ready for the summer with a good spring start. So we'll see you guys back next week.
Thanks, everybody.